Manchester United's Champions League race is suddenly alive after their crucial win over Everton. And the big question every fan is asking right now is simple. Can they actually qualify for Europe's biggest competition this season? Because when you look at the numbers, the story gets very interesting very fast. Manchester United have won the Champions League 3 times in their history, including the dramatic 1999 final under Sir Alex Ferguson and the 2008 triumph in Moscow. But in recent years, consistency has been the real challenge, and that is why every single Premier League point now feels massive. In the modern Premier League era, a top 4 finish guarantees Champions League qualification, although depending on UEFA coefficient rankings, the Premier League can sometimes get a 5th spot, and that small detail could become absolutely decisive. Last season, the race for 4th place went down to the final weeks, and historically in the Premier League era, the average points total needed for 4th has usually ranged between 66 and 72 points, which means United not only need momentum, they need near perfection. The win over Everton matters because Everton have traditionally been a tough side at Goodison Park, and United taking 3 points in high-pressure moments shows a shift in mentality that fans have been demanding. When you compare United's goal difference to direct rivals like Liverpool, Tottenham, or Aston Villa in recent seasons, goal difference has often separated positions when points were tight, so every goal scored and conceded from now on becomes critical. What makes this race even more intense is the financial impact of Champions League qualification, with clubs earning tens of millions of euros from participation alone, not counting matchday revenue and commercial boosts, which means the stakes are not just emotional but structural for the club's few highest revenue-generating clubs in world football, according to Deloitte Football Money League reports, but missing affects transfer budgets and squad rebuilding plans. The Premier League is statistically one of the most competitive leagues in Europe, with multiple clubs consistently crossing the 60-point mark, so consistency against mid-table and lower-table teams often decides the final standings rather than just Big Six clashes. If United can turn this Everton win into a streak, historically, teams that string together 4 or 5 consecutive wins in the final third of the season massively increase their probability of finishing in the top 4. The remaining fixtures will define everything, because head-to-head results against direct rivals are effectively 6-point games, and a single slip could undo weeks of progress. So can Manchester United qualify for the Champions League? Mathematically, yes. Realistically, it depends on whether this Everton victory is a turning point or just a moment, and if the intensity, discipline, and clinical edge continue, this race could go down to the final matchday. And that is exactly why you cannot look away from what happens next.
Now here is where the race becomes even more intense, because momentum in the Premier League is not just about one result, it is about what comes immediately after it. And Manchester United's response following that Everton victory could define their entire season. Historically, teams that qualify for the Champions League from the Premier League average close to 2 points per game across the campaign, and if United want to hit that benchmark, they cannot afford inconsistency in the final stretch. In the 2022 to 2023 season, the gap between 4th and 5th place was just a handful of points, proving how razor-thin the margins are. And in multiple recent seasons, the battle for the final Champions League spot has gone right down to the final weekend. What makes this even more dramatic is the strength of direct competitors, because clubs like Liverpool, Tottenham, and Aston Villa have all shown the ability to go on long winning runs, and historically, a 5-match winning streak at this stage of the season can swing the entire table. Old Trafford also becomes a major factor, because Manchester United have traditionally built their top 4 pushes on strong home form. And when the crowd is behind the team, the win percentage at home has often been significantly higher than away performances. Another key detail is defensive stability, because in recent Premier League seasons, teams that finish 45 goals across 38 matches, meaning tightening up at the back is just as important in campaigns, and that means every late goal scored or conceded carries massive weight. Financially, Champions League qualification would mean automatic entry into UEFA's elite competition, guaranteeing group stage revenue and increased global exposure, something Manchester United have relied on historically to maintain their status among Europe's elite clubs. According to UEFA's prize distribution system, clubs receive significant base payments just for participation, with additional earnings based on performance and market pool value. And that financial injection can influence summer transfer strategies in a huge way. The psychological aspect cannot be ignored either, because young squads often respond differently under pressure, and maintaining composure in must-win fixtures separates contenders from pretenders. The Everton win gave belief, but belief must now translate into consistency against every level of opposition, not just the big names. If United can maintain a points per game rate above their direct rivals from this moment forward, the probability of qualification rises dramatically, but 1 or 2 unexpected dropped points could flip the entire narrative. This is why every upcoming match feels like a final, because the Champions League race is not decided in headlines, it is decided in 90-minute battles, where focus, discipline, and execution determine everything. And if Manchester United sustain this intensity, the dream of hearing that famous anthem at Old Trafford next season becomes more than just hope. It becomes a realistic target that will keep fans watching until the very last kick of the campaign.
As this race enters its final phase, everything now comes down to execution, because Manchester United have given themselves a real chance after beating Everton, but chances mean nothing without consistency in the Premier League. History shows that reaching the Champions League usually requires close to 70 points, and in several recent seasons, the gap between 4th and 5th has been decided by only a few points, sometimes even going down to the final weekend, which means there is absolutely no margin for error. The intensity of this league is unmatched, with multiple clubs capable of winning 5 or 6 games in qualifiers from contenders who fall short. For United, it is not just about winning, it determined final standings when points were level. The pressure at Old Trafford will be massive, but historically strong home form has powered United's best top 4 finishes, and turning the stadium into a fortress again could be decisive. Financially and competitively, Champions League qualification would transform the club's summer, with UEFA participation bringing major revenue and global exposure, strengthening recruitment power and long-term planning. But beyond the money, it is about restoring status, because this club has lifted the Champions League 3 times and belongs on Europe's biggest stage. Now the equation is simple: win consistently, outperform direct rivals, and handle pressure better than everyone else in these final matches. The Everton victory was a statement, but the real statement will be whether they can follow it up week after week, because in this league, momentum can build legends or break seasons in just a matter of games. So the question is no longer can they qualify, the real question is will they seize the moment? Because from here on, every match feels like a final, every goal feels season-defining. And if Manchester United maintain this hunger and discipline, the dream of Champions League nights returning to Old Trafford is not just possible, it is within reach. And that is why the next few weeks will decide everything.